We're working on 2.4 and 2.5 today. They were both sort of short, so we combined them into one. Here we have a Venn diagram. So we have a total of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people. And they're divided into those that play basketball and those that play softball. So anybody inside the basketball circle obviously plays basketball. Same with softball, but there are some people that play both. So Manuel, Mary, and Ryan play both. The first question asks, how many people play basketball? So it would be everybody in this list and everybody in that list, so it would be 9. How many play both basketball and softball? It would be those 3. How many play basketball but not softball? And it would be those 6. Okay. Properties of quadrilaterals. So, in a quadrilateral, we have what's called a trapezoid, and it has one set of parallel lines. We have a rectangle, which has 4 right angles. We have a square that has 4 right angles and 4 equal sides. We have a parallelogram, which has 2 sets of parallel sides. And then we have a rhombus, which has 4 equal sides. There's another one called a kite, but it's not in ALEKS. So a kite has 2 sets of congruent sides, but they're next to each other instead of opposite. That way your kite stays in the air instead of turning right and crashing into the ground. So, looking at a square, does the square have only one set of parallel sides, two pairs of parallel sides, all sides congruent, or 4 right angles? And it can be more than one. So which ones of those does the square satisfy? The top and the bottom are parallel, the sides are congruent, and we have 4 right angles. Okay. What about a parallelogram? Does a parallelogram have only one set of parallel sides? Well, here's a parallelogram right here. Does it have only one set of parallel sides? No, it has 2 sets. Are all sides congruent in a parallelogram? Well, the one I drew kind of looks that way, but what if this was our parallelogram? Are all sides congruent? No. And then a trapezoid, only one pair of parallel sides. Yes. Are all sides congruent on a trapezoid? No. And 4 right angles? No. Okay. Okay. So we have 3 shapes. Some of them have right angles, and we've listed all the sides. Which ones are parallelograms? So here's what we need to ask. Does this shape have 2 sets of parallel sides? Yes, that's the definition of a parallelogram. 2 sets of parallel sides. So that one. What about the next one? The top and the bottom are parallel, and the left and the right are parallel. So yes. What about the next one? Top and the bottom are parallel, left and right are parallel. So all of these are parallelograms. Okay, what has to happen in order for a quadrilateral to be a square? What's the definition of a square? 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. Do any of those shapes have 4 equal sides and 4 right angles? B. Okay. What does it take to be a rectangle? Yes, but doesn't this have 2 long sides and 2 short sides? 4 right angles. So all we need are 4 right angles. Well, the sides, it does have 2 sets of parallel sides, but that's not the definition, right? That's just kind of what happens when you have 4 right angles. So, is this a rectangle? Yes. It's also a square, but it is a rectangle. Is this a rectangle? Yes. They both have 4 right angles. A square is a rectangle, but is a rectangle a square? Not always. Sometimes it is. Well, is this a rectangle? It's a rectangle and it's a square. So sometimes it's both. But is this a square? No, it's not. Is this a parallelogram? Yes. Is this a parallelogram? So this one happens to be a square, a rectangle, a parallelogram, and a rhombus. It's all of those. But is every rhombus a square? No. Okay, so here we have a rhombus. What does it mean to be a rhombus? All 4 sides are equal. So this is equal to this, which is equal to this, which is equal to this. Okay? What that means is this angle is equal to that angle. Okay? And in a parallelogram, this angle is equal to that angle, and this angle is equal to that angle. But in a rhombus, these are actually the same size. So how big is angle 2? 38. How big is angle 4? 38. And we know that because look at this triangle. This triangle has 2 equal sides. Do you remember the name of a triangle that has 2 equal sides? Nope, that's 3 equal sides. Isosceles. In an isosceles triangle, you have 2 equal sides and 2 equal angles. Right? So if this is 38, how do I find angle 3? Add the 38s together, we get 76, and then 180 minus 76 is 104. So angle 3 would be 104. What about angle 1? It's also 104. Yep. Okay, here we have a rectangle. In a rectangle, top is equal to top. Left is equal to left. What about the lengths inside the what about the diagonals? The diagonals are the same length in a reptile. I almost said reptile. In a rectangle. That's not true in a parallelogram. So in this case, we have a short diagonal and a long diagonal. But in a rectangle, the diagonals are the same length, which means all of these are the same length. Okay? So this says that Km, so this length here, is 7x minus 2. And it says that Jn, this length here, is 13. How big is x? Well, how does Km compare to Jn? Jn is half as big as Km, right? So 7x minus 2 is equal to how long? 13 times 2. So if this length is 13, then this length is also 13, and this diagonal is the same length as that diagonal. So 26. Does that make sense? Then we just solve. 7x equals 28. Divide by 7, and I get x equals 4. All right. Okay. Does this angle equal that angle in a rectangle? Well, let's draw a really long and skinny rectangle and see. I'm not a very good drawer. Does it look like this angle is equal to that angle? No. So in a rectangle, that's not true. But if you notice, this one equals this one, and it equals this one, and it equals that one. Because this triangle is exactly the same as this triangle. Similarly, this angle equals that angle, which equals that angle, which equals that angle. You guys see that? So NKL, that one, is 41 degrees. How big is NLM? How big is this angle here? Well, if this is 41, how big is that one? That's also 41, right? Because inside this triangle, we have two equal sides, which means we have two equal angles. So this one is 41. So how do I find that angle? That's a right angle because it's a rectangle. So we take 90 degrees and subtract 41, and I get, what is that, 49? Oh, that one's not supposed to be in there. Okay, that is it for today. Get to work.